Now available, giant new tractors from the big farm shows. Get an up-close look at the latest monster 400 horsepower tractors and combines from John Deere, Case IH, Cat, AGCO, and Ford New Holland. It's the perfect gift for kids of all ages. Order your copy today by calling 217-366-3637 or send $19.95 plus $3.95 shipping and handling to Giant Tractors, Box 99 VRO, Diedrich, Illinois 62424.
Do you have curious kids? Now available, a video just for kids, Big Tractors. It's a close-up look at monster tractors in action on a real family farm.
It's a fun family video. My kids watch it over and over.
Big Tractors is a great gift idea, but it's not available in any store. It's only $19.95, and if you order today, delivery before Christmas is guaranteed. To order Big Tractors, call 1-800-868-5840 now. That's 1-800-868-5840. Satisfaction guaranteed.
Do you have curious kids? They'll love Barnyard Animals, a new 30-minute action video for the whole family. It's an up-close look at horses, cows, pigs, rabbits, turkeys, and more. Barnyard Animals provides hours of learning and fun. Your kids are gonna love it. At only $14.95, it's the perfect gift. To order, call 1-800-868-5840 now. That's 1-800-868-5840. Before the advent of modern machinery, horses were very important to agriculture in America. American farmers owned 20 million horses in 1910. 20 years later, their number had fallen to 14 million, and by the 1960s, there were fewer than 4 million horses in the United States. This is an original 3 horsepower, or rather mule power, stationary power source used to transmit power by belt to tools such as a grain elevator. Horses pulled corn grinders, corn elevators, as well as plows, wagons, and other farm equipment. We're going to start our tour of antique farm machinery with a look at antique small engines. Small engines were used on the farm for a variety of tasks. Some of these tasks included pumping water, drilling wells, and grinding feed. Gas, oil, and steam engines are called heat engines because they all change heat energy into mechanical work. Steam engines use the expanding energy of steam to drive a piston. In gasoline and oil engines, the fuel burns inside the engine cylinder, and therefore these engines are often called internal combustion engines. In internal combustion engines, the fuel burns or explodes in a confined area. This explosive force produces high pressures in the gases, which are a product of the combustion. The expanding gases usually act directly upon a piston, making it turn a shaft which can be utilized to do mechanical work. An English inventor, William Barnett, patented the first gasoline engine, which compressed a fuel mixture in 1838. Barnett's engine had a single cylinder with explosions occurring first on the top, then the bottom of the piston. Jean-Joseph Lenoir, a French inventor, built the first practical gas engine in 1860. It used street lighting gas for fuel. By 1865, 400 of these engines were built for jobs such as powering printing presses, lathes, and water pumps. In 1866, Nicholas August Otto and Eugene Langen of Germany built a successful four-cycle gas engine. In 1876, the same duo obtained patents in the USA for both two-cycle and four-cycle engines. Steam power also provided many machine operators with a power source to drive their shop tools. Steam engines also powered oil field drilling rigs. Steam power was used in giant cranes for the purpose of moving massive quantities of earth. This giant steam engine from a huge crane has been relocated inside a protective shed to aid in its preservation. Giant mobile steam engines did the work of large teams of horses. They were sometimes used for plowing in the fields. However, they were too cumbersome to do much other field work. In a steam engine, water must be added to the engine as steam is boiled off and power is produced. Wood or coal is used as fuel for the fire in the engine. The Hart Car Steamer is an ancestor of the Oliver tractor line. Hart Car was the first company to ship its tractors with instruction manuals, which enhanced operator maintenance and usability. In 1911, Allis-Chalmers began producing an internal combustion kerosene engine, namely the Rumley oil pole. The Rumley 1428 produced 14 drawbar horsepower and 28 belt horsepower. In 1912, Allis-Chalmers produced 2,600 tractors, and the farm tractor movement away from steam power and to internal combustion power was well underway. This threshing machine is powered by a belt, which is hooked to a large mobile steam engine. This wheat has been cut with a binder, which put the grain stalks into tightly packed bundles. A crew of men place the bundles into shocks, each containing about 8 or 10 bundles. The bundles were then left to dry and for the grain to complete ripening. Horse-powered wagons then haul the bundles on rack wagons to the threshing machine, which separates the grain from the straw. A threshing crew might consist of a total of 10 or more men and a couple of boys. A typical crew would include 4 men, each with a team of horses and a rack wagon. Another 3 men would pitch bundles from the shocks onto the wagons, which the driver loads. 1 man would operate the steam engine, and another man operates the threshing machine. 1 man and possibly a boy would load and care for the clean, threshed grain. 1 or 2 men would stack the straw, which comes from the blower of the threshing machine. All of these people, with the exception of the owner and operator of the steam engine and threshing machine, are neighbors who help each other in what was called a threshing ring. The threshing machine combines 4 operations in one machine. These are threshing, separating, cleaning, and stacking. The threshing is accomplished by means of a rotating cylinder. The contact between the slow-moving grain and the fast-moving cylinder knocks the grain loose from the stalks. Motion through the moving parts of the thresher further separate the grain. Rows of metal teeth then comb the grain. The grain and stalks then pass through the separator. In this area, the grain is separated from the stalks by a large screen, which lets only the grain pass through. The grain is cleaned in the cleaning chute, where blasts of air blow out the chaff as the grain falls through a series of sieves. The clean grain then drops into an elevator, where it is lifted into a holding tank. From there, it is loaded onto wagons or trucks. This mobile steam engine is being used to saw lumber. Logs are fed on a movable platform to the rotating saw blade, powered by a belt-driven steam engine. The sawdust is piled by a conveyor. One or more people feed the log into the blade. Several people would stack the sawed lumber. That's our show for today. Hope you enjoyed our look back at steamers and threshers. Today we're going to take you on a tour of classics from the long green line. You'll see everything from the Waterloo Boy all the way up to the 4020 series. We'll show you dozens of classic two-cylinder John Deeres at shows and in the fields. We'll start with this Model A. Here's a Model 50 LP gas. An early general purpose model. The Model D. another GP. John Deere's first diesel, the Model R. A Model B. Another GP. A 420. John Deere's early Model D. A Model 730 diesel. A Model LI. The powerful 4020 diesel with wide front end. A 4020 diesel with tricycle front end. A Model 330. The Model 430. And finally, another fine-looking GP. John Deere purchased the Waterloo Gasoline Engine Company in 1918 and began selling their first mass production tractor, the Waterloo Boy. In 1923, Deere began producing the Model D. The Model D retained the two-cylinder heritage initiated by the Waterloo Boy. Deere sold 880 Model Ds in 1923 and 1924. In 1929, the GP series followed the early Model D. After World War II, steel wheels were made obsolete by rubber tires. Many farmers then banded their steel wheels with road rims. Styled Model Bs first appeared in 1938. This is a 1943 model. From 1918 until 1960, a period of over 42 years, John Deere produced two-cylinder tractors exclusively. The purchase of the Waterloo Tractor Company was the first step in this long tradition of selling Johnny Poppers. While other manufacturers such as International Harvester and Ford were busy producing four-cylinder engines, Deere stood fast with its two-cylinder design. Deere's rationale for sticking with the two-cylinder engines is outlined in a company memo from 1918. It reads, "First, a two-cylinder engine can be built cheaper than a four, and price is an important factor, because a tractor is a business machine and must win by economy. Second, the tractor, unlike an automobile, must pull hard all the time. The bearing must be adjusted for wear. There are half as many bearings to adjust on a two-cylinder tractor than a four-cylinder engine. Third, there are less parts to get out of order and cause delay. Fourth, the bearings are more accessible on a two-cylinder horizontal engine than a four-cylinder vertical engine. Fifth, two cylinders will burn kerosene better than four. And sixth, according to the John Deere memo, four cylinders are not necessary on a tractor. The fact that a tractor is geared 50-1 rather than 4-1 eliminates all jerky motion. The tractor can be made heavy and have a heavy flywheel and can be mounted on a strong, rigid frame. Therefore, a two-cylinder engine is satisfactory in a tractor, and when it is, why go to a four-cylinder type?" And based on this initial philosophy, John Deere stayed true to two-cylinder engines from 1918 to 1960. In 1956, Deere introduced the 20 series line, featuring the 320, 420, 520, 620, 720, and 820. This 620 is a 1957 model. With the yellow accent side panels, the 20 Series is a very attractive line. The 30 Series followed the 20 Series in 1959. These were the last of the two-cylinder John Deeres. This model is an 830 diesel. A 1956 Model 420. A vintage Deere planter. In 1953, the Model 40 replaced the Model M. The Model 50 replaced the Model B. The 30 Series line incorporated stylish integrated headlights and fenders, as well as hand grips for mounting and dismounting. The Model 70 delivered 31 drawbar horsepower and 38 pulley horsepower. This Model GP produced 20 drawbar horsepower and 29 pulley horsepower. Road rims, designed for highway transport. A 1944 Model A with a farmer-designed retrofit V8 engine. The AR was basically a Model A with a rigid front axle. The LA featured a 10 horsepower upright two-cylinder engine. The G was Deere's largest row crop tractor of its era. It was advertised as a replacement for 2, 5, or 6 horse teams. The 40 developed 15 drawbar and 23 belt horsepower out of a vertical 101 cubic inch vertical two-cylinder engine. The Deere 30 Series featured the same engine and drivetrain as the earlier 20 Series. Improvements were made both in styling and comfort features on the 30 Series. When Deere introduced the 30 Series line in 1958, it featured a number of improvements over the previous line, including a 20% increase in horsepower. Improved hydraulics and draft control were also incorporated into the new 30 Series. The 830 diesel was Deere's largest farm tractor in the late 50s. It was designed for large farm use. The Model G was a scaled-up Model A and was a 3-plow tractor. The 20 Series Deeres were produced from 1956 to 1958. The line featured the 320, the 420, the 520, the 620, the 720 pictured here, and the 820. The Model 60 replaced the Model A and was produced from 1952 to 1956. The 60 developed 28 drawbar and 35 pulley horsepower at 975 RPM. The 30 Series replaced the 20 Series in 1958 and was produced until the multiple cylinder 10 Series was introduced in 1960. The 30 Series line included the 330, the 430, the 530, the 630, the 730 pictured here in the diesel version, and the 830. Deere tractors made before 1937 are referred to as unstyled. Beginning in 1938, Deere tractor styling included an enclosed steering shaft and an integrated grille and radiator cowl. The MI was the industrial version of the one-plow M series. The John Deere 630 came with a choice of either gasoline, kerosene, or LP gas engines. The LP gas tractors were quite noticeable with their oversized top-mounted fuel tanks. The original Model D sold for $1,000 in 1923. The D originally came with a spoked 26-inch flywheel. The GP was a two-plow tractor. The 1942 version of the G had a 6-speed transmission. Over the years, Deere produced many agricultural tractors, but they also produce industrial equipment. Deere began producing industrial crawlers in 1939. The company built a total of 1,675 crawlers at its Yakima, Washington plant. The heart of the classic Deeres. The 30 Series featured an automotive-style dashboard and a flatter steering wheel like a car's. The Model M was designed as a one-plow tractor. The 30 Series line is generally regarded as one of the best-looking of the classic John Deeres. Styling had come a long way from the GP series of the 1920s and 1930s. .730s came with either a tricycle or wide front end. The LP gas version of the 630. G-Series high crops were built only from 1951 to 1953. Many worked in cotton and sugarcane fields. By the middle of 1960, Deere had produced over 1.45 million two-cylinder tractors. '60 was the year John Deere introduced their now standard 6-cylinder engine. This 4020 is rated at 78 drawbar and 91 PTO horsepower at 2,200 RPM. A John Deere LA. A steel-wheeled GP struts its stuff. The Model B. A Model 620. Another shiny 620 with a 3-bottom plow. Now, let's take a look at some classic John Deeres that have been shined to perfection. The Model B weighed 4,058 pounds and had 10 by 38-inch tires. The B produced 19 drawbar horsepower and 24.5 belt horsepower at 1,250 RPM. The A featured an adjustable wheel tread, making it an excellent row crop tractor. The last of the unstyled GPs were produced in 1938. The following year, a number of styling advancements were made. The styled Model D was produced beginning in 1939. The styled tractor produced 42 horsepower and was rated a 3-plow tractor. The D weighs 5,300 pounds. A 1929 GP. A 1938 GP Model B. Model A's produced 20 drawbar, 29 pulley horsepower. They were rated as a 2-plow tractor. The engine ran at 975 RPM and had a top speed of over 5 miles per hour. A close-up of the Model GP. A 1942 Industrial Model LI featuring an upright 2-cylinder engine. This model sold for about $500 when it was new. The 720 included many advanced features, like power steering, when it was introduced in 1956. An early John Deere plow. Early GPs came with either twin front tricycle tires, single front tricycle tires, or wide front axles. This 1941H has 40-inch rear wheels instead of the standard 36-inch wheels. They were Deere's first high-clearance tractors. The M featured a 2-cylinder upright gasoline engine. The engine turned at a relatively high RPM of 1,650. It was designed for the farmer with small acreage. The 420 was produced from 1956 to 1958 and included row crop, high crop, and crawler versions. The MT featured a single front tricycle tire. The MT featured independent left and right-hand side hydraulics. Advertising pointed out that the D weighed no more than 3 good draft horses. The tractors had 3 forward gears and 1 reverse gear, and was capable of 6 miles per hour top speed. Styled Model A's were sold from 1939 to 1952. The A features a 6-speed transmission and weighs 6,400 pounds. The A produced 27 drawbar horsepower and 34 pulley horsepower. This Model G features a twin driver seat. This 1938 GP is the last year of the unstyled models. The 620 has 6 forward gears and weighs 6,345 pounds. The 4-plow 620 came with either gasoline, LP gas, or kerosene engines. John Deere manufactured 1,100 320s and 330s from 1956 to 1960. The 330 was only available with a gasoline engine. The 430 has a 4-speed transmission and weighs 3,000 pounds. Options included a 5-speed transmission, a wide front end, high clearance, and crawler versions. Now let's take a look at some of these green machines in action. A John Deere Model B handles field work with ease. The John Deere 720 produced 56 belt horsepower. The Model 70 replaced the Deere Model G and developed 20% more horsepower than the G. The 70 diesel produced 50 horsepower. The 720 replaced the Model 70 in 1956. The 70 claimed its own Nebraska test record by developing 17.74 horsepower per hour per gallon of fuel. The 70 diesel featured a 19 cubic inch V4 pony starting engine. The Model LA was designed as a 1-plow tractor. It produced 7 horsepower at the drawbar and 10 at the belt. The 70 has a transport speed of 13 miles per hour. The LA runs at 1,850 RPM and has a top speed of 8 miles per hour. The LA weighs 1,515 pounds. From 1964 to 1972, the 4020's horsepower increased from 91 to 96. This 4020 tips the scales at over 13,000 pounds. John Deere sold more than 200,000 4020s between 1964 and 1972. The suggested list price of the first 4020 was $10,345. The 4020 came with either a gasoline, LP gas, or diesel engine. The diesel 4020 came with a 404 cubic inch engine. The 4020 came with either a wide front end or tricycle front end. The standard transmission on the 4020 had 8 speeds. When the show is over, it's time to pack these beauties away and get them ready for the next show. Well, that's our show. Hope you enjoyed our classic long green line.